We are now 7 audition episodes into America's Got Talent Season 20 as we're inching closer towards the live shows in this upcoming August. And it's that time of the season where I share with you my early picks and predictions on who I think will make it all the way to the final. Not only and basically give my thoughts on who I think will get the live show golden buzzer like they did last year, the semi-finals, yeah, you heard me, the semi-finals, and also who I think will make the top 5 and end up winning the whole competition for this season. We've got a lot to talk about this week's video of AGT where I show you my predictions, who I think will make it all the way. So let's get straight into the video. So folks, it's that time of the season again where I share with you my early picks and predictions for this season of AGT and who I think will make it all the way to the finals. And I'm actually doing a little bit different this year, as last year, if you remember, when I did my early picks and predictions, I did it with the season 17 to 18 format where they had the top 2 move on each week. It's kind of similar to BGT in a way, but last year they changed up slightly where they have the quarterfinals where each judge would get the chance to press the golden buzzer, and it would send that straight to the final, where 3 acts from each of those weeks would make the semi-finals and 6 would make it through. So I'm going to basically do my predictions like that, and who I think would be the golden buzzers, semi-finalists, and kind of the pairing, and then of course the finals as well, which you'll see at the end of the video. But I hope everyone's doing fantastic. I am so excited to be doing this video again, as you know, I love doing these videos. It's a little bit later than normal because I tend to do it between episode 5, but since there's 9 audition episodes, I think I basically decided to do it a little bit later into the season, and especially because there's no necessarily a legit episode. It's basically a recap of all the golden buzzers we've had over the years, which I might maybe do my own little video on that, kind of like sharing my personal favorites. If you want to, if that's something you're interested to see, feel free to let me know. But regardless, as I was saying, this season I'm going to be giving my predictions who I think will make it to the final, and I have to say this season is being absolutely off the scales. I've absolutely loved this season. Season 19 is probably one of my favorites as well. I think like last year, especially in the Got Talent franchise, it was so stacked talent wise on BGT and AGT last year, where I literally basically predicted half of the finalists in my predictions, and they end up being in the final. So that was very impressive of me. So I'm going to hopefully do the same as I did this time around. And I do have some quite kind of like names you wouldn't expect to see here, which I'll happily but this will probably change once I do my tier maker at the end of the auditions. As you know, every single year I do my tier maker predictions where I kind of analyze everything, and it's like a vision board in a way where I kind of show you how I think each contestant will progress in the competition, if that makes sense. But regardless, I think we should jump straight into the video because I've done quite a lot of talking already. So anyway, let's get into the video. So let's talk about my predictions. So we normally have 10 finalists. Well, we did last year because we had no wild card. I was thinking of putting a wild card here, but I was kind of like, if they're sticking to the format, I won't add a wild card. But if there is, because there's quite a few acts I was thinking of adding on, but then kind of changing at the last minute, because that's why I'm kind of hoping for a wild card this season. But I don't know if there will be, but of course we'll find out. And of course I'll share my live show on buzzers as well. So anyway, here we go, folks. So the top 10 acts who I think will make the spots in the final this upcoming season. And of course, feel free to disagree or agree. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So my predictions who I think will make the spots in the final are Girish and the Chronicles, Lightwire, Jordan Blue, Charity Lockhart, TT Boys, Joggler Simo, Jessica Sanchez, the Masaudi Brothers, Shula King, and Team Recycled. So this is my overall predictions for the final, and honestly, I could definitely visualize this lineup happening. There are maybe one or two I can maybe see getting knocked out and getting replaced with another act, especially because there's quite a few acts that have not made the airing yet, which I could see making it decently far if they do get aired. Of course, we won't know until in a few weeks' time when they do back to the auditions. But this is what I'm kind of visioning right now, especially with the views they've gotten, and just I think to see a final like this would be really kind of different. As you know, we have of course we have singers, we have dancers, we have acrobatics, but we also have some more variety acts that I think to make the final would be amazing. So this is kind of like my overall lineup for the final as of right now. And once again, this could very well change over time once we get into the later kind of end portion of the season where something could literally throw everybody out of the water. But there is one contestant out of this lineup who I almost, at this rate, is almost a guaranteed lock for the win. And I'm sure you've heard me mention this person's name, but I'll mention that in the later half in the video. But I'm sure you know who I'm on about. So yeah, yes, this is my overall lineup. Feel free to let me know your thoughts of this prediction. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Again, let me know your thoughts. But so that's what I'm leaning towards. So next up, we're going to do the live show Golden Buzzer. So this is where so in the quarterfinals last year, the judges had the opportunity to press the golden buzzer for an act to send them straight through to the final. And at first, I was quite perplexed about this because I felt like if they were to like save the original golden buzzer, it would just feel like they're just it would feel like jumping the shark a little bit, and it would just feel really kind of like, oh, they're just saving this act just so they don't get eliminated. But it worked out really well, and which I didn't expect, as the acts that got it last year were very well deserving as well. So I'm hoping they stick to that route where new acts get the golden buzzer in the live shows. And I think again, and that would make it more fair. And yes, that's what I'm feeling. So I have in each little box, I have each judge's name. We have Howie, Mel B, Sophia, and Simon. Again, this is not, I'm not saying this is going to be the exact order they do in the live shows. This is just like in the judging seating order that I have a feeling that could get it. So here are my predictions. So my golden buzzer predictions for the live shows, that who I think each judge will press it for. So I think Howie will press it for Shula King. My prediction for Mel B is Juggler Simo. Sophia, I feel she will press it for the TT Boys. And Simon, a bit of a hot take here, but I'm thinking Team Recycled. So this is what I'm thinking right now, and we'll go through each act right now. So starting off with Shula King, as you know, he is currently at 1.5 million views and has got a very strong online following. And I absolutely loved his audition. It was really funny, especially making the gags about his job being a funeral director, and just he's got real funny bones. I love his character, and just he has been one of the stand-up comedians that's really stood out from the pack. And we've not had many stand-up comedians so far this season. He was the first one, and then we had Sandra Rizza from this week as well. So, but I think if I had to visualize who I think Harry would press his golden buzzer for, I have a feeling it would be Shula. I think that would make the most sense, especially because I love seeing comedy, and we've not had many comedians get a golden buzzer over the years. I think the last few I remember were Drew Lynch, Mikey Winfield from All Stars. I'm just trying to think of some more. Did we have any other golden buzzer comedians? I'm not too sure. But I would love to see him get a golden buzzer, and I could totally see Howie doing it. And again, it would be so great to see another comedian in the final this year. And I think out of all the comedy acts this year, he is definitely the number one pick for me. Now for Mel B's choice, with my prediction being Juggler Simo, and I'm not even being biased when I say this, but I generally can see them getting the golden buzzer in the live shows, as their act blew me away in the audition. It's easily one of the best acts this year, especially the way they utilized the juggling with the technology, and they really just made a real work of art with their audition. It was so stunning to watch. And honestly, I mentioned this in my review as well on their episode, but I was really shocked they didn't get the golden buzzer. I just thought they were absolutely sensational, just so exciting to watch. And just, this is the act that, like, their act is something I could totally see in Vegas and having its own headline show. Like, I would go and pay money to go and see these guys live. I just think the way they did their routine is just remarkable. And I do think that could depend on what lineup they're on, because I think if they're up if they've got like real competition, I feel a golden buzzer will be the only way for them to make the final. But if they're on a good lineup that I could see them doing well on, I could definitely see them get to the semi-finals, and if they step up in the final as well. And again, like I mentioned, but also I just feel Mel B, I could visualize her doing this for them, and she even mentioned that she's been waiting all day to see it. So I could totally see them getting the golden buzzer, and again, I would love for that to happen, as I think they are a truly world-class act, and I think to see them get that golden buzzer would be absolutely fantastic. So then we have my prediction for Sophia's golden buzzer being the TT Boys, and I was kind of kind of debating if this would be hers or Simon's, but I went with the latter, with being the TT boys. And they really reminded me a little bit of the Ramadani brothers from season 18. Not well, I wouldn't say like necessarily, but like the way they do the acrobatics, because I know the Ramadani brothers had each other on their heads, but like the TT boys, they were doing flips in the air of their heads, and just their audition was really thrilling to watch. And as I mentioned before, I love seeing acrobatic groups on the show, acrobatic acts, duos, you name it. To see an acrobatic act, you could say, on the show is always excites me. And I think to see that, to see again, I think with Sophia, because Sophia last year she pressed it for the Akuna Matata acrobatics last year in the quarterfinals, which was a very well deserved golden buzzer too, and because I feel like they were like the underdogs as well throughout last year. So when they got the golden buzzer, I was really excited for them, and I could definitely see Sophia doing the same for the TT boys. And again, I do think they deserve the golden buzzer as well on their audition, because I think quite a majority of people online were saying the same thing. So I would really hope for them to get a golden buzzer, and I would just again, it would be really great to see that kind of variety element onto the show for them, and just seeing an acrobatic group. And we've not had an acrobatic group or act win AGT, I don't think, because I feel like season 18, the Ramadani brothers should have won, in my opinion. And I truly stand by that, because for me, they are one of the best acts ever to grace the show, and but also the TT boys are absolutely sensational. So I would love to see them make it and get a golden buzzer as well. And now for my prediction for Simon. And again, this is maybe a bit of an unpopular opinion, but I am going with Team Recycled. And you could tell that Simon absolutely loved their audition. He even mentioned how fantastic the music was, and also mentioned that there would basically mentioned that it felt like an event, and also mentioned making good things by doing great things. It was something on those lines. And I'm still rather annoyed, if I'm honest with you, that Mel B said no to them, saying that they were boring. Like, how were they boring? They were literally unbelievable, and I still watch their audition many times over since they got aired, and I just find I'm bamboozled that she actually said no to them, as I thought they were off the scale, especially the way they did the dancing, in the audience. They were sitting where the audience would normally be sitting, and they were doing the synchronicity, and then they incorporated the glow sticks. That was mind blowing, and just I honestly was amazed Nelson Nelson, because this was not boring. They were not boring. They were just out of this world. And I think they are a dance group I could definitely visualize going far in the competition. I would love to see what they do in the live shows. And I hope they prove me I'll be wrong, because I just know they are. I still think it's absolutely crazy that she said no to them. And I actually was thinking maybe how we could give them the golden buzzer. But at the same time, I feel like it could be a potential Simon golden buzzer. And again, I would honestly love to see them get a golden buzzer as well in the live shows. So it would be really cool if they did actually end up getting one, especially because I would, and also like if they're able to step it up with the auditions, I know they're on the stage and they're in the audience. Maybe again, I could totally see them stepping up really high for the live shows, and I could see them getting the golden buzzer, and I hope they do. So these are my golden buzzer predictions. Again, I could be very well incorrect with these predictions, but we'll find out later on throughout the season. Now we go on to the semi-finals. So how I'm going to do it is I'm going to basically do like they did last year, where they have the top 12 acts there, and I'm basically going to do it by two groups of two. So basically, I'm going to do it two at a time. So basically, like they did last year, they called two acts up, and then one will go through to the final, etc., etc., etc. So if hopefully that makes sense. Sorry about that. I literally just dropped a little stand here for one of my equipment bits. All right now, but as I was saying, so basically, I'm going to do it in two groups at a time, basically. So as we normally have 12 acts in the semi-finals, like we did last year. So again, I'm trying to be as accurate as I can. I do have some unpopular, maybe hot takes that maybe not all you guys will agree on, but we'll find out as we go along. So the first pairing, for my predictions here, is singer Jessica Sanchez, who is Sophia's golden buzzer, and magician Alan Simonov. Now, this I was very now with Alan Simonov. I have to say, I was kind of because Mel mentioned that she didn't get the story and she didn't really understand what was going on. But in my opinion, I mean, I thought he was fantastic, especially the way he did the routine. It was fantastic. But I have to say, I feel he could use that to his advantage, as I could totally see him pulling off a Yu Ho Jin from 2022. As if you remember Yu Ho Jin, his audition was very good, but I found it forgettable. But in the semi-finals, he really upped his game and blew me away, which secured him a spot in the final. So I could honestly, I mean, of course, this will depend on what other acts we get. But if he does really really stand out from the pack, especially in the magic category, I could honestly see him being a one for the finals. I could see him being a potential finalist dark horse, but at the same time, I could see him at the semi-finals. And of course, with Jessica Sanchez, we all know the story by now, that of her incredible audition, which aired about 3 days ago. And so far, she has got 4.5 million views on YouTube. And it just shows how excited everybody was that she was coming back. And even I even mentioned how excited I was. And honestly, I have watched her audition so many times since she got the golden buzzer. Basically, it is just, and the way she did that song with Benson Boone, it was sensational. Her voice is incredible, and just yeah, that's all I can say, because she is truly, I feel like she is the one to beat this season. So out of the pair of Jessica Sanchez and Alan Simonov, I think while both are great acts, for me this is an easy one, and that is Jessica Sanchez. And to be honest with you, I would be amazed if anyone were to beat Jessica, even though how good they are. I feel like Jessica is the number one contestant this season. I can't see anybody else beating her, in my opinion. She is absolutely off the scale and just another planet of singing this season. I mean, I know we've got quite a few great singers this season, but for me, Jessica is by leaps and bounds at the top mark, and just I think she's an absolute lock for the finals as well. So I almost certain, regardless what happens, golden buzzer in the lives or not, she is 100% going to be a finalist, and I would be amazed if she wasn't. So the next pairing I have is quite an interesting one, as one of those acts are from the most recent episode, but the other one is another act who is another returning act from a few seasons ago, but we're also on BGT. And so the next pairing prediction I have is Crash Adams and the Masaudi brothers. So Crash Adams, and as you know by now, they are a vocal duo, and I follow them on social media. They're very talented, and honestly, I was very surprised to see them on the show, especially with their big following and amount of music they have. But I really enjoyed their performance of Optimist. It was a great song. The showmanship they have, and I could definitely see the public rooting behind them, and just seeing. I could see them being rooted by the public. And the Masaudi brothers, who are another returning contestant act from this season. And a little fun fact for you guys, but their Golden Buzzer performance was actually released early to the public a few days before the premiere happened, which is the first time they had ever done that. So I was really surprised that they actually did it. But I think because it was Mel B's return, and they wanted to show the Masaudis getting a golden buzzer for Mel B's return. So, and they did that with Jessica Sanchez as well, which really surprised me as well, but I wasn't complaining. But and also the Masaudi brothers, I think, are just such an incredible act, especially for the juggling. Like, I think what they have is, so basically, I can't really compare Joglissimo to them because they're so different. As Joglissimo not only bring the exciting elements as well, they have the beauty, the art, the showmanship, and just the way they do their juggling, with the technology is a work of art. But also with the Masaudi brothers, they have not only the danger elements, the surprise factor, the showmanship, but how they're able to do that, do the juggling while swapping the clothes over with the knives, is actually mind-blowing. And I think... And also, I remember them on Britain's Got Talent last year, and I feel like they were robbed of a place in the final. So out of this pairing, while I love both of them, I feel the Masaudi brothers would get the next spot in the final. And also, I would really love to see them make it there, especially because on AGT 2019, where there were the three of them, they got to the semi-finals and got eliminated. And I feel this could be their redemption story. They didn't get to the final in AGT, so I could totally see them really upping their game each week and getting through to the final. And I mean, could Sophia press the golden buzzer for them? Because I know Sophia mentioned that she was going to do it, but Melby beat her to it. But we'll find out later on. But out of the pairing, I have the Masali brothers as the next finalist pick. So now we have the third pairing of the predictions video, and this is actually the battle of the golden buzzers here, as I have Jordan Blue, Howie's golden buzzer, and the Birmingham Youth Choir, who is Simon's second golden buzzer. Again, I am going out there with the Birmingham Youth Choir, as I know some people are iffy on them, but So anyway, so let's analyze them now. So Jordan Blue, currently one of the viral acts this season, especially for the golden buzzer. As we all know, he is the singer who performed not Unwritten, it was Break Even by The Script. I had to think of the song for just that. And currently, he has 5.3 million views. So currently, the highest view golden buzzer of the season so far. And of course, Jessica is now creeping up behind him with 4.5 million views now. Yep, 4.5 as I'm saying this. And I feel his audition really blew me away. Like, no pun intended, but he really impressed me with his vocal abilities and the way he sang that song, Break Even. It felt like I was listening to it for the very first time. And, to see him get the golden buzzer from Howie was such a special moment. He's got this great gravel to his voice. I think he's a superstar. He is so unbelievably talented, and I think he is someone I could definitely see a force to be reckoned with in the competition. And now we have the Birmingham Youth Choir here, and I know some of you guys out there are iffy on choirs, which is fair. I do think they were a fine choir. They weren't like necessarily something outstanding, but they were solid enough. But I felt like their golden buzzer was basically quite predictable. But I wasn't expecting Simon to press it, because I know Terry Crews normally presses choirs. He's done that quite a few times over the years. So to see Simon do it was quite an interesting take for him to do. So so out of the pairing here, I feel like if I have to go based on who I think the public would vote for, and again based on the views they've got and the online reception, my pick here is Jordan Blue. I think he is currently the most viewed golden buzzer of the season, and I just think his talent is absolutely phenomenal. His voice is incredible, and I would love to hear what he does next, especially when he did the Script song. He really interpreted and made it his own, so I would really hope he does something like that again and takes on a really popular song and makes it his own. And I think as of right now, he's definitely one of the top contenders to go all the way. And again, I would love to see him. And I think out of the pairing, he would definitely make the final, and hopefully he does as well. Now for the fourth pairing for my semi-final predictions, and this one is another interesting one, because one of the acts I almost for certain think is going to make it, and the other one I've been kind of on and off about on if I think they're going to make it, of course. So, and this is where I think a wild card would make sense, but at the same time, I don't think there will be a wild card. But my prediction for the fourth pairing is Lightwire, the multimedia dance group who got Simon's Golden Buzz in the premiere, and Duo Turkey, who are Julia and what are their names again? The other name. So they're Julia and Julia and I'm just trying to look up the name. It is Julia and Dimitro Turkiv. I think that's how I pronounce his name. I'm sorry if I've mispronounced it. So, another interesting battle here, because Lightwire, who absolutely blew me away in the auditions, and visually, it's one of the most incredible acts I've ever seen on Got Talent. And, seeing a multimedia act like them be on the show is just so unbelievably exciting. And I think they're just such a world-class, original, exciting, and visually incredible act. While Duo Turkey, I'll reference to them, They've made the finals on quite a few Got Talent shows. Let me get them up quickly. To get them on the fandom quickly, so please bear with me. So they have been on the finals. They made the finals on Slovakia's Got Talent, Romania's Got Talent, Got Talent España, and Italy's Got Talent. So they've been on one. Hang on, they've also been on France's Got Talent as well. I didn't see that there. So they've been on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They've been on 5 Got Talent competitions and made the final on all of them. So I could see them being a potential finalist depending on who they're up against, and if they do get a live show golden buzzer, which again maybe I could see that happening. But out of the pairing, who I think is likely to make it through, I am saying Lightwire. Again, I think as of right now that them and Jordan Blue and of course Jessica Sanchez, but especially for the premiere, those two are definitely locks to make the finals, especially. And just again seeing a multimedia act like them, incorporate, and again their storytelling is absolutely off the charts. And look, I know I keep rambling on, but still I absolutely loved their audition, and I think that I just already know they're going to do something bigger and better for the live shows. And again, I can't wait to see what they do. And they could definitely be contenders to win the show. But I've noticed we've had quite a few multimedia acts get to the final and get third place. So of course, we've had Light Balance, Sky Element. Who else we've had? We've had quite a few other acts, I assume. Fighting Gravity, T Illuminate. I mean, Fighting Gravity, I feel like should have won on that season, but that's just me. But again, I would love to see an act like them win the show. But of course, we'll have to find out what happens going forward. But out of this pairing, Lightwire for me would take the next spot in the finals. Now we go on to the next pairing, the 5th pairing of the predictions. And this is actually the battle of the singers for this type of pairing here. So my predictions are for the pairing are Charity Lockhart, who of course got Mel B's golden buzzer in episode 3, and Chuck Adams. Again, I think who is probably my favorite solo singer that hasn't received the golden buzzer. So out of this pairing, let's talk about them. So Charity Lockhart, so she performed Somewhere Over the Rainbow, where Simon stopped her midway through. And that's when she did Golden Slumbers by the Beatles and absolutely knocked out the park. Secured Mel's golden buzzer, her second golden buzzer to be exact. And then we have Chuck Adams, who performed his own rendition of Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls, who again absolutely left me floored, and his vocal range was amazing. The interpretation of the song was incredible. And I've kind of considered him to be a dark horse as well. I could see him maybe getting a golden buzz on the lives, especially from Sophia. But also, I just think, I could definitely see him being kind of underdog that maybe people would kind of forget about, but also once he performs, he's like, oh, okay, now I realize how good this guy is. And he really is. He's got such a great voice. I loved the interpretation of that song he did, and just, I think he's got an amazing voice. And with Charity, she can hit the high notes, she can hit just the low notes, she can, her vocal range is absolutely sublime. So but also I believe I actually read, I don't know if I mentioned this in my review, but apparently she's been a Aretha Franklin tribute artist. If so, that's pretty cool. So maybe she could do an Aretha Franklin song. That could definitely fit her voice well. So again, out of the pairing, I think both of these singers could be potential finalist candidates, but in my opinion, who I think would make it through out of this pairing, I'm saying Charity Lockhart. And again, I could definitely see Charity being kind of like the sleeper of the season, and kind of being maybe some people might forget about. But at the same time, I could also see the public getting behind her and remembering her name, as she's done quite well in terms of the views, I think. So currently she has let me get this up quickly. Yeah, I've talked quite a lot this video. So she has got currently 2 million views. So that's not too bad overall. But yeah, I could definitely see her being one of those finalist candidates, especially because. But I mean, would they have got 2 golden buzzers in the live shows from their judges? I know I have the Masali brothers there as well. It would be cool if they did. I must admit, it would be very cool if we had 2 golden buzzers make the live shows. Well, not mention, but make the final. That would definitely be a first. But Yeah, I think out of this scenario, it would make sense for Charity to make it through, and that's what I'm leaning for. But for Chuck Adams, I could also see him being that typical underdog that could definitely claw his way through. Because I also feel he's only just scratched the surface of what he can do. So if he really brings in the live shows, he's going to give himself a real good shot at making it far. And now for the final pair of my predictions, and this one is again, I think this one is probably the one I'm probably really kind of clutching at straws about, as I loved both these acts. Do I think they could be potential finalists? I'm not 100% sure at the moment, as there are quite a few acts in the next upcoming weeks I could see taking their spots. But my predictions for the final pairing of the semi-finals are Gendai, the Japanese laser act, and Indian rock band Girish and the Chronicles. So let's talk about these acts now. Gendai, who performed a laser routine, basically a dance routine in coordinating lasers to Holding Out for a Hero by Bonnie Tyler. I think it was a Japanese version of the song, which was very cool. And he absolutely blew me away in the auditions. And Mel B said no to him, which is crazy because she has said no to many acts this season, which is quite ridiculous, especially some of the good ones. Team Recycle, one of them. But Gendai, I feel like that typical contestant that maybe what a few people would say it's like a one-trick pony, but I could definitely see him being that typical kind of contestant that really brings it in the live shows and makes it kind of like unique and really switches up the game. And also, to see an act like this in the live shows would be so cool, especially because if you remember Made in Vietnam from Britain's Got Talent this year, he didn't get to the live shows, which I thought was absolutely crazy and like criminal because I thought he was sensational. And just yeah, I feel he is that typical contestant I would love to see make it far in the competition. And the semi-finals I think would definitely be a good spot for him. And now Girish and the Chronicles, the Indian rock band who performs their own rock rendition of Set the Rain on Fire by Adele. And watching their audition back, it doesn't even feel like an audition. It feels like their legitimate concert. It felt like a concert watching them. And the lead vocalist, Girish here, has got an absolutely astounding vocal range, and just his range is incredible. His vocals are incredible. Every single one of the band members are extremely talented, and just the audience were absolutely loving them. You could tell by the reaction they got after the audition that the crowd were going crazy for them. And I think Girish is probably a lock for the live shows, especially because we've had Steel Panther, we've had True Villains make it through to the live shows, so I think that Girish are definitely going to make it through to the live shows. So, out of some of these predictions, so I think will make the final. Again, this is probably my biggest hot take of the episode of the video right now. But out of these options, my choice here is Girish and the Chronicles. And I know you're saying you guys are probably really surprised of me saying that, but I think again, I'm not even being biased when I say this. I love seeing heavy metal come on the show, and I think it's rare to see a heavy metal band do well in the competition. We've not really had, many groups make it too far. I mean, we've had the Steel Panther; they made the semi-finals, but something about Girish and the Chronicles is just not only they're so unbelievably talented, but also just the showmanship they have, the performing they are, and just the I could totally see the audience really falling in love with them and being a potential, again, another dark horse. Like, I do have quite a few dark horses in this prediction list, but out of the scenario of Gendai and Girish and the Chronicles, my pick here would be Girish and the Chronicles. Now, again, I'm probably going to be wrong on that, but it would be very cool to see a band like them make the finals. So I'm kind of hoping they do, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't make it. But at the same time, yeah, I'm sticking with my prediction for Girish and the Chronicles, and that's just my opinion. And feel free to let me know if you agree with that. Now we go on to the finals, and this is where we have the top 5 acts. Where in the final, 5 acts will make the top 5, and of course, you'll get it from 5th, 4th, 3rd, and then of course the winner and the runner-up. So my prediction for the top 5 is indeed Lightwire, Jordan Blue, TT Boys, Joglissimo, and Jessica Sanchez. And I think out of the lot here, to me, Jessica is, of course, the absolute lock here. I think Lightwire, Joglissimo, probably. I think all these contestants here could make the top 5 if they make it through. So I'm going to basically go in order, so from fifth place to the top two. So the actor I think will get fifth place in this scenario would be the TT Boys, as I know we've had, as someone who loves acrobatic groups, I think I could definitely see them sneaking their way into the top five, but I could definitely see them getting fifth place as their overall result. Especially, we've had the Ramadani brothers get fifth place, and I know we've had the Akuna Matata acrobatics get to the top 10. They didn't get to the top five, which I was a little bit surprised about, but at the same time I wasn't. But I have TT Boys as a potential top five placement. And then the next act who I think will get fourth place is Jordan Blue. Again, maybe a bit of a hot take as well, because I know over the years we've had quite a few singers get fourth place. And while I think Jordan is definitely one of the favourites as well this season, I could definitely see him being that top five contender, but also getting to the fourth place category. But at the same time, I could maybe see him being a potential top three, top two. Of course, that's just what I'm thinking right now. But you let me know your thoughts. But as of right now, I have Jordan as my my fourth place. Now we go to the top three, and who I think will get third place is Lightwire, the multimedia group. And like I mentioned, we've had multimedia acts over the years that have made it to the final, but have got in third place. Light Balance, for example, Fighting Gravity, I Illuminate, Sky Elements, to name a few. And I could definitely see that fate happening for Lightwire, even though I could maybe see them being a potential winner, and I did say I could see them winning in the first episode. Also, it would be great to see an act like them make it far and potentially win, but for now, I have them at number three. Now, and then we go into the top two, which is Jessica and Joglissimo. And all I can say is, as of right now, if these acts are not the top two of the season, if the top two doesn't come down between Jessica and Joglissimo, I am going to be very upset, because I think both of these acts are absolutely out of this world. They're absolutely incredible. So I was having a really difficult time on choosing who I think would win and who'd be the runner-up. But I went with my gut, and I'm saying that my early prediction for the runner-up is Joglissimo. Again, they are an act I could totally see winning the season, especially with the variety aspect. The audition blew me away. I'm sure everybody else watching it. They were robbed of a golden buzzer. I hope they get a golden buzzer in their lives. But also, I could just see this act headlining Vegas. So again, while I could definitely see them being candidates to win the show, I think with their competitor in my predictions, I think they are likely to get the runner-up spot. And of course, my winner prediction for season 20, my early winner prediction, is none other than Jessica Sanchez. And for me, this is the only correct option. As like I mentioned, we were all very excited. Well, majority of us were very excited to see Jessica come back, especially when she was in the very first trailer. I think in the start of May, I believe. I think the trailer was uploaded on May 1st, I think. And then she was shown in the trailer. And then I think since then, the trailer's actually been set to private, which is a bit interesting. But the comment section, I wish I had a screenshot of it, but the comment section were going absolutely ballistic over her and her big return. And that's when I saw that, I had a feeling that she would probably be the real one to beat. And now she's got 4.5 million views. I can't see anyone else beating her this season, to be honest. And I think this would be such a great full circle moment if she were to win. As she was on American Idol, she was on AGT, the very first season, got cut in the semi-finals. On American Idol, she finished as the runner-up to Philip Phillips. And now with her big return to the AGT, this would be such a great storyline for her. She's lost twice. She came so close to winning the second time round, and to see her and then finally get that victory the third time is the charm. To see her win would just be amazing. And honestly, I know some of us are quite picky for singers and winning, but honestly, if she were to win, I would not be disappointed in the slightest. I think she's an absolutely incredible vocalist. She's absolutely leaps and bounds, in my opinion, the best of the season. She literally, for me, gave not only the performance of the entire season, but one of the best vocal performances I've ever heard on the show. I just think she's that good. And just, again, I would be amazed, honestly, if she didn't end up winning or in the top three or top two, because I think she's absolutely out of this world. And again, she is easily my choice to win America's Got Talent season 20, and it just, again, to see her win would be absolutely amazing. So yeah, that's really it for my predictions video, my early picks and predictions video for this season. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree with my finalist predictions? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And again, this will probably change within the next few weeks when we head to the later half of the auditions, and when I do my basically my tier maker. I'll probably have some options removed and changed over. But this seems like a really solid lineup for me, and I could definitely visualize it happening. But of course, and I know there are quite a few underdogs this season. I feel, because I feel like Cole Swinson's an underdog, Benjamin Hightower was one, Alan Simonov, again Chuck Adams, Gendai, Joe Turkey. All these acts I could definitely seeing as a potential dark horse, and of course I could definitely visualize them maybe securing a spot in the final. But again, this is probably the one I'm probably clutching at straws on. I'm hoping to be right on a majority of them, but if I'm not, then that's completely okay. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed my early picks and predictions video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe with post notification turned on. I would really appreciate that. But thank you so much for watching this video, and of course, I will see you guys next time.